six of you, you made the most talked about films of the year. Some were big commercial successes, others were critically acclaimed films, widely acclaimed films. Have you figured out a way to enjoy the process of making a movie, or is it always a struggle, always a lot of stress, always compromise?
First, tell us which was widely acclaimed and which was commercial script, please.
Elaborate.
Let's know where we stand.
It's always a struggle. It's always painful and super involving and all of that. But that's what, it's also equally enjoyable. You enjoy that.
You know, it's like going through a labor pain for a long stretch of time. And in that pain, you say, never again you want to deliver another baby. But the moment you deliver, the joy is so much that you want to get pregnant again.
I mean, that of course the joy is huge, but I don't think the joy is only about the delivery. I think the whole process, and I'm sure all of us, if we didn't enjoy the thing, you would have given up. You would have said, why am I doing this, you know? But it's the process which is so enjoyable, I think.
Do you agree?
Actually, the day film releases, it releases you. And then you feel very low.
Yeah, depressed.
Whether it does well or not, irrespective of that. Suddenly you become a complete void overcomes you.
The struggle I feel is to get the film started, but the process is always enjoyable, I feel. At least for me it was. My first film, so it was fun. So, I mean, it was not a struggle for sure, no.
Vikas?
I think every film has its own kind of struggle. You know, some struggle is the writing, some struggle is to get the money, some struggle is to get a film released. But I think all of that is interesting and all of that has its own highs and lows. But I think by the end of it, when you release the film, you should have some story to tell. So the struggle helps you with some story.
And I think the most struggling part is to decide about the film, which film you want to make.
Right.
Because so many ideas are there, at least with me.
What's the most difficult decision that you've had to make on a film?
It's ready to roll. I think the toughest part is to say, okay, I think this is what I'm going to go on the floor with. And
As in the final script?
yeah, because I think that call is the most dangerous and exciting call. Because you say, this is the film, now I'm giving the script out to my team and saying, abhi ye film jaake banate hain.
Yeah, I think the toughest has been in the last 4 or 5 films, the editing part. Never a question while writing it or shooting it. But every time, almost every time one comes to the edit, you say, shit, this is not what I wanted to make. Or that one has failed completely. And then that process is, there's a little bit of anxiety there. Has it come together or not? And that has been a pattern for the last 3 or 4 films now.
You know, another tough part really is when the whole crew looks at you after a shot is done and you're supposed to say, okay. You know, and you're wondering, so you're almost being judged at that time.
Right.
And you say okay, and then 5 people tell you, but sir, ye problem tha, and that. So it's almost like an exam that you're clearing at that time.
और या एक मेरे लिए तो सबसे और एक टफ कॉल होता है कि वो शूटिंग शुरू होने से एक हफ्ते पहले when producer comes कि थोड़ा budget कम कर it should be actually 20% less. No, then I end up losing my fee. और कहाँ से कम करेंगे?
That's the first thing that goes.
That's the first thing that goes, and the producer knows it very well because they are not going to compromise on our
what's
vision,
on screen, right?
Vision. So where अपनी जेब से पर्स निकाल के दे देते.
For me, it's a script actually always. There are many dark days when you don't get ideas and you wonder कि यार ये whether there's a story in this. And it never ends. The process of scripting never ends.
Yeah, that's
You finish, you have to at some stage figure out कि I'm good enough to roll. From here I'll start. But even while you're shooting, even while you're editing, you keep thinking this could be better. So I can change a line here, So as I keep...
You've got to learn to live with that insecurity, I feel. And it is very tough. You know, like when Vikas was saying that script dena mushkil, of course it's very tough to say, okay, this is what I'm shooting. But then you know you're going to change it 1,000,000 times.
Yeah, it evolves
every day. And you want to be secure that ho gaya, my work is done. But it never happens and it keeps going on.
And you know, when you drive back home after your shoot is done for the day and you're driving back, you're thinking, oh, I should have done that. I could have taken that shot. I should have changed that. That's the toughest drive back. Right? Oh, I didn't take that close up. You know?
Yeah. Within that is life.
Yeah.
I actually second with Rajat sir, I think, on that, on the edit. Actually, you feel like, you don't want to let go of a scene, or is the movie coming together, or have you covered enough? Like, you're thinking like, if you had done more, maybe something better would have come out, in a sense. So the edit becomes really like crucial, and it gets a little scary also, because you're seeing the film come alive in a sense, and then you're just wondering what's going to happen. So yeah, I second
And then
with him
somehow
completely.
everyone targets the scene you love the most.
Yeah, and also the length. That's true.
Yeah, you love the most, they want that to be
Yeah,
edited.
that has to go.
And then you have to take that call over my dead body.
What do you like on set? Patient, impatient, calm, nervous, irritable? What's your mood like usually when you're directing?
I think you should ask other people.
Yeah, exactly.
What's your mental mood like?
I
What's-
feel I am very calm. I really feel I'm like completely calm on set. So that's pretty much. And he's right. You should ask the other people. Maybe I'm snapping at my assistants or something. But yeah, pretty much calm.
I guess what's internally happening is very edgy.
Yeah.
At least as far as I'm concerned, I'm edgy for the first 1 or 2 shots. Once you see that you've got it right, the actor has caught the sur the way you want it, then you kind of get relaxed.
And
Your
this is every day or at the beginning of the...
Your days, every day.
Okay.
Every day. Actually, every scene you begin, you're constantly hoping, okay, the actor catches the correct sur.
Right.
So अगर वो पहले shot पे नहीं होता, if you don't catch it in the day, then you edgy through the day. Yeah, let's finish that. Maybe we'll come back to this, or we'll catch it from another angle. If it goes smooth, then you're happy. Then you're joking around. You're in good fun.
I'm super calm, I think. More than calm, I think it's very joyous for me to be on the set. So that collective energy of 100 people, it's like a high. It's more than calm.
Actually, for me, it becomes like a war every day, because you have to catch number of shots. और वो लाइट का इतना चक्कर है, एक्टर टाइम से नहीं आ रहा है या कोई इधर जा रहा है. So all the time there is a struggle, a war is happening that we have to finish it by 5. Then you start compromising on the shots. Okay, I can live without this, but I have to take this shot. So there's so many things going on, and then your mood changes according to that. At least my mood changes to that. That if I'm not able to get it, then I scream at everyone.
For me, shoot is a party. I love it. I mean, I'm so happy on a set. I mean, bad day, good day, trouble, no trouble. But I'm so happy being there. I want to get there. I want to figure out what's for lunch, what is evening snack.
Have you ever wanted to punch someone on a set?
Yes, many. Why should we take it?
Angry you do get, but
Kill yes, punch no.
anger is towards that. Just think, why didn't this get done? Why didn't?
Yeah, not like.
It's not even personal. It's just that thing.
I go through this. I always tell the team that you have to open your mouth at the right time. And I really want feedback. I want everyone to tell me whatever they're thinking on the sets. Don't tell me. So the only thing that bothers me is that when we're driving back and someone tells me, I was thinking we should have done that. I'm like, why are you saying this now? You should have said it. So that bothers me at times a lot.
But actually, मुझे क्या लगता है कि directors जो हैं, they are the best con artists. Okay, and they have to keep changing their roles. कभी लगता है कि आपको बच्चे की तरह किसी से रिक्वेस्ट करके काम कराना पड़ेगा, कभी लगता है कि आपको बहुत टीचर की तरह काम कराना पड़ेगा. Sometimes you have to flirt with your whole crew कि यार ये please किसी तरीके से शॉट करा दो. So we are actually the con artists, that we have to con for the right reasons.
Okay.
Actually, to put on to that, somebody had told me, I can't take names, but one assistant got back at me, almost saying कि if you think you can do this job better than me, then you do it. तो मैं शाम को बैठा रहा, सोचता रहा यार कि क्या है.
आपने क्या जवाब दिया उसको?
नहीं, उस टाइम शूट करी थी. Same issue was there. We were on that one location which we had just for 5 hours. तो मैंने कहा अभी let's not disturb the apple cart, let's finish it. Because I'd asked him to get the actors on time, quickly, कि आने में 10 मिनट लेट हो रहा है, we have limited time. तो उस पर वो he says मेरे को एक्टर चिल्लाते हैं, तुम यहाँ ये बोल रहे हो. तो मैंने कहा उनको let them wait. Today is a bad day. Let them, if they're waiting here half an hour, it's okay. But don't take them away, which is the location is far off, the vans are far off and all that. शाम को I was sitting with Amir. I said यार ऐसा मुझे आज किसी ने बोला. So I said you also directed a film. So does it happen to you? कि तो कहता यार मेरे साथ भी हुआ है. So I said what did you do in that situation? How do you handle it? So he said an amazing thing. He said, see, I try to handle with affection first. Sometimes you do it with affection. Sometimes it doesn't work with affection. So sometimes you yell and shout with anger. You try and control it. Sometimes it doesn't work. So then you tell yourself, झेलो. So मैंने मेमोराइज कर लिया कि मैंने कभी कभी झेलना पड़ेगा, so you झेलो that. You say अच्छा this is not going to, okay झेलो it.
Raju and Vishal, you made films that addressed very relevant and sensitive themes this year. Vishal, you took an unflinching, honest look at the Kashmir problem in Haider. Raju, you cast a satirical eye on the prickly issue of blind faith and organized religion in PK. Were you ever afraid of ruffling feathers, or were you hoping to?
See, yes, I was afraid of ruffling feathers. But this is a story one wanted to say. For a very long time, this is a story I wanted to say. It's been a belief since childhood. But the trouble was, how do we say it? Till we crack this whole device of, let's see God through the eyes of an alien. So then I said, then it will be a very innocent way of looking at.
Right.
If we had somebody else, like a lot of our earlier drafts were seeing it from a point of view of a rationalist, from a point of view of an atheist. So that was becoming little hard.
Right.
So we did tone it down, because when you want to make a point, the best thing is to say it in a way that you don't ruffle feathers.
Sure.
Because then people stop listening. If you're attacking somebody, don't attack him. Give him your point of view. So the attempt was that. Attempt is not to really incite people and create a controversy in any way. Attempt to say it softly.
Okay.
So yes, I was afraid. But somewhere there was this belief, because in Lagero Munna Bhaiya, when we were doing that, anybody who used to walk on the sets would see an actor dressed up as Gandhiji and would see Munna and Circuit sitting and drinking with him. They would say, have you gone nuts?
Right.
You know, he's finally the father of the nation. There's an emblem act. You'll be in trouble. And I would get scared there. But when we made the film, there were certain protests which happened in Indore, I remember, in the morning. And by evening, a lot of support came. Like Tushar Gandhi got up and said, this is the greatest tribute to. So my belief is that if you are doing something with honesty, if there are 4 people opposing it, there'll be 4,000 people supporting it.
Okay.
So that belief kept us alive, saying, okay, you can go and attempt something which is slightly
sensitive.
Yeah.
Sure. Vishal?
Yeah, I think it's the basic intention, basic intention of the filmmaker. And that is very invisible thing, but that becomes, actually filmmakers becomes naked on screen, completely emotionally naked on screen. So I think it has got to do with the intention. And if you are honest enough, then if there will be people who will be opposing you, you will get more people who will support you in that.
Okay. Vikas, I read an interview of yours in which you said that all you wanted to do with Queen was to make a fun-filled film that involved travelling. But it's so much more. It's poignant, it's funny, and it makes such a strong statement on empowerment. Was that not part of the original design?
I mean, the story was basically, when I started thinking about it, was all about a girl who gets dumped and then she goes for a honeymoon alone. So that was the starting point. And I think as we moved forward, many things started happening. And but I won't say that I said, okay, let me go and make I still don't think I went ahead to make a women empowerment film or any. It could have been, I mean, that same film can be told from the boy's point of view, and I can tell you, you'll like him and you'll hate her.
Right.
So it was just which point of view take, you go and make a film. But the attempt was never to go and let's do a women empowerment film kind of thing. I wanted to make a fun film. I wanted to say that when you travel, it's very liberating.
Sure.
When you meet people, it's very exciting. I travel all the time, and I think it's the best thing to do in the world. And the idea was to take a subject like this and take someone who's traveling will be the most discomforting thing for that person.
Right.
So that girl seemed to be the most exciting person to take and put in a story like that.
Sure.
And the rest was just, and I traveled before that exactly like that. And I went and I used to sit in cafes and I used to write, I used to meet people. A lot of stories used to just be picked up by meeting people, whether it was the pole dancer or it was those boys. And I've met all these people. So the idea was just to take someone like that and put her in a world which is uncomfortable for her, and then just over time realize that that is the best place to be in. And but I don't know, starting point was never liberation or
Okay.
any of that.
Okay. Imtiaz, you've said that you wanted Highway to be your first film. It's an idea that you've been carrying around for years. Looking back, do you feel like the film benefited from the maturity and the experience that you had now that when you made it recently? And would it have been a different film had you made it when you hadn't made a film before, when you were more idealistic, more innocent, more inexperienced perhaps?
I have tried to make it over the years. After every year or two, I've thought about making it, and I've tried to put it into different, recipes. And I think the one that I ended up making was closest to what I basically intended to make, I think. Because there was a time when I was looking at it like a big action thriller, like a macho man and all of that. Then there was another time when I was looking at it like a very conventional love story. So different times. But I'm really glad I didn't make it all the time, because in all my innocence, I don't think I was very innocent when I started making movies actually. And I was already corrupted. So so I would have made it in a not in a good manner, yeah.
Okay.
So I'm glad that it was closer to the essence now.
Okay. Abhishek, your film Two States is a love story between a Punjabi boy and a Tamil Brahmin girl, and the obstacles they face in winning over each other's parents. As a first-time director, how did you intend to bring freshness into a story that's inherently built on stereotypes and cliches?
That's right. First, I wanted to break the cliches in a sense, and secondly, I never saw it as been there or done that in a sense, because I always felt it was interesting that the boy and girl were in a living relationship and they were independent and they were working, and yet they wanted the parents' approval for marriage. So I thought that itself makes an interesting take on marriage in a sense, which in our country is per se very important right now. So, but yeah, I thought the freshness came with my approach to it. I think it came from the approach. But yeah.
Okay. Rajat, in Aankhon Dekhi, at the center of a realistic middle-class joint family, you place this whimsical story of a man who will believe only what he sees and where that journey takes him. Where did that idea come from? You've said that part of it was real life, was autobiographical.
Oh no, the autobiographical part was the family, not this idea. I've lived in a family like that, in a social milieu like that, so I know that quite intimately. The idea had been with me for quite a few years, but I didn't know what to do with it, because it needed a story, it needed an emotional spine. So I kept playing with that idea for 4 or 5 years, and then when this joint family thing came up, then the two met quite easily actually. Then I wrote it in 20 days, but the gestation took a long time.
Each of you wrote or co-wrote your respective films. Vishal, you adapted Shakespeare. Abhishek, you adapted Chetan Bhagat. They're really at two ends of the literary spectrum, so to speak. Do you enjoy the process of writing, or are you writers by necessity?
Actually, I think I became director, and I could only direct if I had written, because that's the only way to internalize the film for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't have, because I had no training, I had not been on set like an AD, so I knew nothing about the lens or or any technicality to say. So for me to be confident was to internalize the film so well that if anybody asks me any question about any scene or shot, I should know why I want this, from a cameraman to the actor. So for me it was that, and then I think we don't make writers, we make writers who want to become directors.
Right.
So ना ही कोई प्रोफेशनल यहाँ पे कुछ था, अभी 10 साल हुए हैं जब पूना में स्क्रीन राइटिंग का कोर्स शुरू हुआ है, तो आई थिंक पूना इंस्टीट्यूट थॉट दैट वी नीड एडिटर्स, वी नीड सिनेमेटोग्राफर्स, डायरेक्टर, बट वी डोंट नीड राइटर्स. क्या है, पेन उठाओ, मुंशी की तरह लिखो, हो जाएगा काम. So now we are realizing, I think in last 10 years, actually we have really progressed well.
Actually, what Vishal sir said has happened to me by default.
Okay.
I never wanted to write, so I am a writer by necessity only. For like really stupid things I had to write, and there was no time or no money, so I have to write. ऐसे करके हुआ.
Okay.
I wanted never to write. But now I think I've gone through the process exactly that he's saying, that you internalize it, and then now I feel I can't not write and direct.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. I think all of us, as I can assume, all of us wanted to direct, not
Right.
write. We all wanted to be directors, at least. But I remember when we all came, most of us are from outside this thing. So I think was how do you convince somebody to put in money? How do you convince an actor to act in your film? What do you show? So unless you have a great script,
Right.
you have a script which will say, how will he trust you that you can make a great film? You cannot go to him and say, yeah, I'm a great director. He'll say, what have you done? So you needed a great script.
Right.
And the best script writers who were there would not give that script to you. They will go to the known filmmakers. So somewhere you have to sit down and force yourself to become a writer so that somebody can make that film for you.
But this is the other way, going around the other way.
Yeah.
Because you want to be a director, so you need to write, and that's how you become a scriptwriter. Scriptwriters don't become directors, but directors become scriptwriters.
Right.
Yeah, that's true actually. Yeah.
Actually, I started writing when I was producing, and because Ronnie hired me, and then he gave me a room which was right in the corridor. It was a glass room, and I had no clue how to make a movie. I didn't even know who's the first person you call, and who. Though I had one phone number, Prasoon Joshi. So he said, I'm talking to Ronnie, don't worry. So phone over. Now I don't know who else to call. So I had to just look busy sitting in that room. So I had to just sit and write something. And I thought maybe I have to write something which I can then produce. And I started, and I used to only sit there and scribble because I thought that's what I will produce.
Right.
And I wrote Chiller Party just in that, trying to look busy in that glass cabin. And we finished writing it over a year, and there was no intention to direct it at all. Because we didn't know how to, like Vishal said, I didn't know where to put the camera, I didn't know what, I didn't know length, nothing. And then we went to many filmmakers, but no one wanted to make a film with 10 kids and a dog. And then one day I asked Nitesh, saying that, should we direct? So he said, okay. And it just happened because we loved the script and no one wanted to make it. We said, now we have to make this.
Right.
And we went and made it. But I actually started writing to produce that script.
Rajat, you said you enjoy writing.
I love writing. I love the process of writing. And because there's always so much time between films when you're looking for money, so what do? You keep writing. But this is something I've learned. Like Vishal said, we didn't have a course of screenplay writing in FTI. And when Hirani was there and I was there, there was for us a little course, but it was very badly done. So one learned on the job actually. You kept writing, kept throwing the scripts, and you became a little better over the years.
And actually you learn writing by writing.
Exactly.
You can't learn it by reading. You have to write, you have to throw, and then you have to feel excited. It's the best script in the world. On the first draft के बाद लगता है कि अब इसके बाद कुछ और हो ही नहीं सकता, फिर कोई गुंजाइश नहीं है. और जब उसके दोस्तों के रिएक्शंस आते हैं, then you feel कि
क्या कचरा बना दिया है.
क्या कर रहे थे.
Is there a director or one film that has particularly shaped you?
I've been saying for a long time that I became director because of Kieslowski, because I saw his films and I realized that okay, one can express one's emotion in such manner. So that's where I realized the power of cinema. When I saw his Decalogue and his Red, White and all those films. Yeah.
It's a collection of kinds of filmmakers. If I look back, I enjoyed Rishikesh Mukherjee, Gulzar Saab's films, Guru Dutt. So you have a bend towards one kind of cinema, but it's not one film which you can say, okay, this is what made you want to become a filmmaker.
For me also, the list would be of 50 filmmakers.
Okay.
But if I had to choose one or two, it would be Charlie Chaplin and Fellini.
For me, it was always Yashopram films in a sense. You know, I had seen Lamhe, I think, when I was 10, and you know how seamless the narrative was and how seamless the performances were, which was these four characters, really intrigued me. And I went back and then I saw all his films. You know, I went back and saw Silsila or there's Kabhi Kabhi Aur Diwar. So yeah, I think it has to be Yash Chopra for me for sure, because
I remember clearly the three movies that started making me feel like, wow, this is such a powerful medium. You can do so much with it. And I think it started when I saw Ghosla Ka Ghosla. And like, wow, where did this guy come from? How did he go and make a movie like this? After that, when Rang De Basanti happened, and I was in the theater and I could see, you know, how the audience was going crazy watching. And I was like, I had goosebumps for 3 hours watching. I was just feeling like, wow, you know, this is magical. And then I went and saw Swades. And I saw Swades and I walked out of the theatre with my wife and I sat on the footpath and I just broke down. Because that topic was very, very important to me. All my friends would left. And I realized that it makes so much of a difference to you. At least it used to impact me a lot.
You know, the obsession that the film industry has, and as a result the media has, with box office records and opening weekend numbers, is that a healthy thing? And does it restrict you sometimes from making the movies that you want to and taking the risks that you want to?
I think it's a disgusting obsession that's going on right now. While every movie has to make money like any other business in the world, but it's become so sad that all we do when we meet is discuss Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I don't remember last time when we sat and discussed someone's script, someone's idea, and I can have the same discussion with a very fine filmmaker and my mother, because those numbers are out there for everyone to discuss. My mother's telling me that the film is getting released in 5,000 theaters.
True.
You know, so it's
actually the normal public has become more interested in that. It's kitna hua, kya hua, yeah.
It's shocking. It's actually
and that's what's a little bit unhealthy, don't you think? The fact that why is the public concerned with how much a film made?
It's a cricket match now. You made 100, I have to make 120. Only then I can win the game.
Not only 100, it's like saying, okay, first over he played very well. Then do. So what is it? Is it how much you score, and how can money judge? There are various parameters which make that money. What was the ticket price? How it opened? What season was it in?
True.
People might be in that mood to go and so. But do you remember? I'm saying my logic is ultimately the film is judged by, you don't remember what Paisa did. Today you don't say, oh, Paisa was a great film, it did so many crores.
True.
You remember because it was a great film.
And or Andaz Apna Apna, I heard Amir on your show saying it was the biggest flop.
But it's still remembered.
Can we imagine Andaz Apna Apna? We don't even remember that Andaz Apna Apna was the biggest flop.
Your film made 100 crores. Were you...
Listen, while making your first film, you're just happy making it. You don't think of the figures, you don't think of anything in a sense. Like, you're just happy making it. So it never occurred to me also. I was just happy that I'm making a film which is going to come out on Friday and people are going to watch it. So I was just happy with that. So the numbers
lose money, as I said.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it's an expensive. You're not a painter sitting and painting with a canvas and paint.
True.
Yeah, exactly.
You're more interested in what kind of messages people are sending you, what kind of, not in the messages.
Yeah.
You want to know acha film, achhi lagi ki nahi logo. That's all.
And how much those figures are correct also when they announce 100 crores.
Indeed.
You know, there's so many ambiguities in that. Is it net, it is gross, it is overseas ka paisa laga hua hai ya nahi laga hua hai.
Satellite ad kiya, correct.
They think every other film is making 100 crores and which is not the truth.
Can you be objective about your films when it's ready? Your labor of love that you've spent time and invested passion and energy and sweat?
For me it's impossible. I mean, you become objective about your work 2 years later.
True.
एक साल तक तो पता नहीं चलता कि हुआ क्या, अच्छी क्यों लगी और बुरी क्यों लगी.
You spend chunk of time writing, then you're shooting, then you're editing. So the jokes stop working for you. The emotional scenes, you're not getting emotional as when you first time while writing it happened. So everything seems bad. And I remember I've chucked scenes from films and saying this is not working, and then somebody else has seen it and this is working. So you become dependent on somebody's judgment you trust, and who are also open enough to forcefully tell you this is working. So I do actually a lot of test screens to get a reaction. If consistently there's a problem being pointed out, then that means maybe there's a problem. So address it. So and be ruthless with your material. And yeah.
I also actually, I think I hate everything I watch. I feel, I think it's just not working, or I was trying to do something and something else happened. And I think that time your editor steps in a sense, and then she becomes your support and she kind of gives you a judgment about, like, no, it's not that bad. You're like, you managed to pull off something, and then, yeah, I mean, it's a process. I think you live with it in a sense.
I think the first cut is usually so bad that after that it's only a struggle to get it right. So I don't know whether you're objective or not, but the first cut, I mean, each time I've seen the first cut of a film, you're so worried, this is what you went and made, that after that you're just struggling to get it right, and then hoping that it goes out. So I think there is some objectivity there, but you lose perspective over time. And that's the reason why actually 4 of us worked together, because the idea was always that you need to have people around you telling you exactly what needs to be told to you.
Yeah, I agree with the Janta ki Rai over here, for sure. And like when you were talking about editing, of course, when you see a material after shooting it, you feel, what the hell? Ab kya hoga? Khatam. You feel that. I feel that each time.
What kind of toll does the filmmaking process take on your personal lives?
Yeah, completely, I would say.
Nice question. Next one.
No, it does take a toll because you're completely disconnected for those, you're snapping at the smallest things. You don't want to be involved in anything. You want to only be there. And yeah, so the toll will happen now actually because you say, now it's over. Now, how do you react to situations? Now is what? It seems like a big to-do list of things to do for the family now than before, you know.
It's almost, I think, like a parallel world you're living in. It's like it just, you forget about your normal life and your film becomes your life completely in a sense. And then to break out of it, it takes time. So it definitely takes a big toll on your life for sure. Yeah.
Now, when I was shooting Shandar right now, and I was in London, and I realized one day that I haven't taken out my phone from my bag for almost a week. So it just shows how disconnected you are at that point in time with the world, because I took out my phone and it wasn't charging for a long while because it's so drained out that. But that's how involved you are. That's how disconnected you are.
Rajat?
I think I'm a little luckier because my wife and I collaborate on the films. So we do get to spend time even when we are doing a film. So that way, yeah, I'm a bit lucky. And there is lots of time between films, so I get to spend that time with them.
Vishal?
Yeah, of course. You know, I have a list of friends who I have to go and meet for past 5-6 years. So every time I think I'll finish this film and go and meet my old friends, and it doesn't happen. It really takes your time because you use so much of your life in a film. You don't realize it then. You realize it 5-6 years later. Okay, you know, my son has grown into 18, 19, and I miss those years, you know, I've been shooting.
Imtiaz?
It's difficult to say whether it's good or bad, but it affects you largely, and then it affects you in a way that you can't do without it too. You become that, I feel, and it cleans you, it cleanses you, I feel, this work that we do. But I feel beyond a time, the difference of making a movie and not making a movie I feel, will start to recede. It becomes that. You know.
Finally, I want to ask you, what's the one big change that we're going to see in the next few years in the way that films are made?
I think the change is already happening. I think the year had the best roles for women written in a sense, so that's happening. I think smaller films are getting made more, and your quintessential commercial films are not, in a sense, what an audience is looking for right now, in a sense. So I feel the change has already started happening from this year onwards. So that's how I see it moving forward, I think.
I think people are realizing that projects are not working, films are working. So I hope that more and more projects go down and films get made. But I think the writing is on the wall for everyone, because each time you're putting up a project which says 100 crores, it's not going to 40. So, and if that just keeps happening, then we'll just go back to writing, make films, and hopefully they'll do a huge business and do well. But that project to film should be the change that should happen.
I think we are part of the change.
True.
I think the greatest times have been around for our industry.
True.
Where a film like Ship of Theseus and Singham, they both do well.
Successful, right?
Yeah, so I think we are a part of change. So we won't know when we are in the stream, you know.
Correct.
Where are we going to reach?
I have no idea what's going to happen. I feel that each one of us know what they want to do.
Sure.
And we are a part of we hopefully are people who will take it towards cinema, towards film, as he was saying, towards better and better movies. Yeah.
Okay. Raju?
See, actually, over the last 10-15 years, 10 years I would say at least, we are seeing a change in what cinema either used to be either love stories or typical action stories.
Correct.
But now content is being accepted. We are coming out with different stories, so smaller films, big films, all kind of content is being accepted. And I pray, I don't know what's going to happen, I hope that content-driven films become, they also make commercial, they become commercially viable. then more filmmakers will want to do.
True.
Because sometimes you actually see a film, a typical popcorn film, and that works. So more people feel that that's a film which
Right.
works and that's what you should do.
Jump the bandwagon.
But the reality is actually content-driven films can work, good stories can work, and I hope that more stories work like then more a
will
whole
be
younger
encouraged.
breed of filmmakers start doing that.
I think we all agree that, and I think we all hope this would be the change. But if you ask me, I think nothing will change. We'll make the same kind of very bad films that we are known for making, and that will continue. And there will be some sparks every year, 3 or 4 films which will say, wonderful, they broke the traditional mode. But nothing is going to change, I think, unfortunately.
That's an interesting thought to ponder. But thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing with us your process, how you make the movies that you do. We are, of course, hoping that you will continue to make films and entertain us in the manner that you have. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.